privileged to be joined in studio by Baba Sadiq Abdullahi Abu, the NDC candidate for KWESI Central, the one that the EC announced as Member of Parliament elect for that constituency. Baba, good evening. Thank you very much for your time.
Good evening, Valentina. Hi, how are you?
I'm very well. I hope you're well.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm fine.
Should I say congratulations?
Yeah, of course. I think it's in order.
But your results is in dispute.
Right.
The NPP said they won by a vote margin or difference of 1,446. Whilst their candidate had over 20,000, you had somewhere around 18,000.
So this is in sharp contrast to what Patrick Obama himself had put out on a day after elections. Per what he had put out, he has put out actually three different figures.
Okay.
One figure where he put out and suggested that he had won with 21,171 votes. He says that he's leading us with 1,899. That's one. Then the same person, also put out another figure that says that he won. You see, the first figure he says he projected that he had won with 21,171 votes, which is 52.35%, and he had 1,899 lead. That's what he was saying. In another breath, he had said that another thing that he put out on his own he said he had won with 20,997 votes, and he was leading with 1,897 votes. You see the differences between that and the other one. Okay. Now, then later in the day, on City TV had put out a notification, and they were sharing it widely, including him also sharing it on his page. That indicated that he had won with 20,229, and I had lost with 18,783. Right. So these are three different figures. All these three different figures is different from what McMenu had put out. So exactly which is which. If they are so clear they won, you should be consistent. Meanwhile, we have been very consistent with the fact that we won with 52.92%. We have put out a figure that we are stood by until the EC decided to set aside the 31 problematic polling stations. We had won. So which exactly is which? Which one should we go by? Which one are they so sure that on the face of their pin sheets that they've collected? And be that as it may, I've always maintained that they don't have their pin sheets. His team and his agent didn't even bring patient to the constituency collation center, not to talk about the regional collation center. They didn't have their pin sheet. It was clear. It was live on TV. I have the videos that was captured by the media houses that were at the regional collation center. Everything that happened was live on video. We are keeping all of that as evidence. In the event that they decide that they continue with their plan to go to court. And so
they're calling for re-collation.
So, well, I mean, the EC's position is very clear. In 2020, the EC put out their position, and I think that position, if there's anything to go by, then there wouldn't be any need for re-collation. Honorable Patrick Obama had already indicated that he's going to go to the High Court. I think it's welcoming news. He should go to the High Court and defend how they came about these three different figures that's also at variance with what McMenu had put out. But
McMenu says that there were only 3 polling stations outstanding.
That's not true. We had done all our full collations. In fact, and then he lied. He lied when he said that it was NDC tax that was visiting mayhem at the collation centers. No,
so if it's not NDC, who are they?
In KWESI Central, there's one fact. Prior to the NPP even having a vigilante group, Honorable Patrick Obama had always had his wounded lions. They were there. I've seen a video today where an agent for Ebinat was even till today has been attacked. For instance, I'll play it for you, right? And these guys had come in there. One, they noticed that we had figured it out that we've won the elections and we're actually coming to ensure that the right things were going to be done. They decided to obstruct the process.
How?
This led to disturbance because they were trying to stop our guys and stop our elections director, stop us from actually making and showing them that we actually won and showing them the actual numbers because they know what they had done. So this led to the disturbances because there was a pushback from our guys on the ground, and there was back and forth, which degenerated into some disturbances that curtailed the process. Now, be that as it may, there was another opportunity for us to actually continue the collation. We all came to the regional center. We came there. We came fully armed with all our pink sheets and all our numbers that we've collated. They also came with their agents. At that particular point, the guys didn't even have their pink sheets to actually even stand by some of the numbers that they were putting out. They were waiting. When the EC mentions a particular polling station, then they wait for us to say, oh yeah, we are approving. They say, okay, let's go ahead. You know, they were not so sure, they were not ready. If you see from their demeanor and body language,
because
you
they
know.
said that the NDC people destroyed the electoral, some of their pink sheets were torn and all that. So if they...
So what was the basis of the collation that was done at the regional office? I mean, the EC pulled their documents for the problematic 31 polling stations. I mean, we brought our pink sheet signed, ready. We showed it to them. We gave it to them. They examined it. They looked at it and affirmed that this is legit. This is credible. You know, you saw the videos where Otokuno was speaking to them and engaging them on it. All these things was captured live on TV. This is captured live on TV prior to the declaration that was done. You know, and I think that even the EC returning officer would disagree with their position that he was forced into making a declaration. No. You know, they were there when there was an agreement that, okay, I mean, once there's a legal provision where you could declare with about 65 to 65% or 66% of the total polling stations, particularly when there was a problem with this other 31 polling stations. They agreed.
Peter McMahon says they didn't agree to.
Everybody should visit the video to see the party agents that were there that actually disagreed. Check the TV3 video. It's live on Facebook. Everybody can go and look at it. He had agents there. Peter McMahon says he was an observer. So he couldn't have agreed or disagreed in any case. But Obama had agents there. You know, and so I don't know. They stood by Techiman South. They agreed with the EC's position that a recollation can be done, and if anybody felt aggrieved, the person could go to court. So what is changing this time around?
Well, the EC is even changing its own position, because last Friday Samuel Tete held a press conference and they mentioned your constituency as well as Domikwa Binyatema Central, Ablikuma North.
I think Samuel Tete was
some of the constituencies. I don't think he says it was illegal.
I think he had forgotten the stance they took in 2020, for instance. Don't forget that it was after that press conference that their own documents or their own correspondence to the NDC relative to Techiman South was brought to their attention. They said that what has changed, you know. You will see the attempt to create a collusion with some of the EC commissioners, for instance, to force a recollation. But if you truly believe you won and you have your pink sheet, you have all your numbers, you could easily go to court. Why are you trying to circumvent the process? Why are you trying to force these things rather than go to court? You know? And so that's the point. I think that they are just testing the waters, trying to create a whole buzz and see if the buzz they will get support, so that the EC, I'm sure the EC guys, there are guys internally in the EC will tell them that, look, go and create the narrative. Let's see if Ghanaians will support you, because if there's no critical mass of people that actually support this particular thing, then maybe we cannot do it. You know, but we have been consistent that we don't think that a recollation at this point is plausible. Owing to knowing my constituency is one of the flash constituencies and that was flagged in Ghana. And if you know the amount of work we had to do to maintain peace and order, no responsible person in charge of electoral affairs would overlook all of that and stay or be inconsistent with their earlier rulings.
The EC issued a statement. They said that they had put a hold on the recollation until further notice. We don't know when their next communique will be. What if they decide that, okay, let's go and do another recollation? Will you agree to that?
At this point, we are very much in touch with the party leadership. The national chairman has spoken relative to that. The party's official communicators has also spoken relative to that. We will align whatever thinking and direction that's coming from the party generally. It's at this point, it goes beyond Sadiq, for instance, who won it fair and square in Okakwe Central. At that particular point, when they issue such a communications and they decide to do anything like that, we'll revert to the senior, we'll revert to the party leadership, and then whatever comes up, we'll communicate it to do.
Baba, what do you think did the magic or the trick for you in Okakwe Central?
I think hard work. I mean, my mantra in the campaign at the point in time was that there is no alternative to hard work.
Okay.
You know, because we had to really work hard. We had to work hard morning, afternoon, evening. We had to build a message. We had to identify some of the challenges within the constituency and factor all of that in our messaging. And we had to spend time engaging the constituents on our message, you know, a number of times, you know, because I mean, we're going to them house to house, explaining what we're coming to do and all of that. We had to build a very strong message. I had to be there. I had to show dynamism. I had to show youthful energy. We had to show intelligence. We had to show the fact that we knew and understand the challenges and exactly how we intended to fix them. You know, we had to get close to the people in each and every part of the constituency, you know, at different times. It was really, really a crazy time because we did not ourselves sleep. You know, waking up very early, going to the constituency, different parts of the constituency, campaigning, talking to people, introducing ourselves, going back again, doing it again and again and again consistently for almost about 8 months. You know, never giving up, meeting them wherever we find them, in the church, in the mosque, at the shops, in the workplaces, as groups. We kept on keeping on and ran a very, very strong and visible campaign that everybody in the constituency had admitted that they haven't seen before as far as NDC was concerned. And I think that that's what worked for us, and helped to convince the people that we were really serious and we could really bring them the relief, that's the much needed relief.
Some people say that Patrick Boma is a strong contender in that constituency and he's done a lot. So for you to come first time and just sweep that seat, it's something very difficult. Do you think it's the youth that did it for you, or maybe you had some lapses in the leadership qualities of Patrick Boma that you played to?
I think it's a lot of factors, but there's one factor that we cannot take away, and that's a God factor as well.
Okay.
You know, it's always been said that God's the one that crowns kings. You know, I think that the timing was just good, and God had ordained it, of course. And so all of that connected or fed into a lot of other things that we're doing. Because if God hadn't ordained it, then even all our steps may not even amount to much. And so we kept on taking the right steps. We kept on meeting people. We kept on winning hearts and minds of the people. You know, and you would have known that that constituency was a skirt and blouse constituency all this while. We needed to convert. We needed to reduce the skirt and blouse phenomenon drastically. And I mean, use that as a launchpad to go for the floating voters that would ensure that we win, and that's what we did. As to specifically what we did, I think it's early days yet to put all of that outside, except to say that we really worked hard morning, afternoon, evening. I mean, knocking on doors, knocking on houses, knocking on shops, knocking on offices, going to every part of the constituency, campaigning and selling our messages to them.
You are yet to go to Parliament. You haven't been sworn in. We're looking forward to the midnight of the 6th or maybe 7th of January 2025. I'm sure there's some bedding on your shoulder, having won. I mean, the promises you made and all that. How do you feel now?
Well, excited and anxious at the same time. Excited because, I mean, I if we're able to deliver some of these things, I know it will etch our names in gold in the constituency. Anxious because we can't afford to disappoint the people. We can't afford not to deliver a single of the promises we made to the people in Local Kwesi Central. Lots of lofty promises cutting across infrastructure, jobs, and helping to create sustainable livelihoods for constituents. You know, and so we can't afford to not to deliver. I mean, cutting across, inclusive of education, commercial. There's a whole lot that we had promised in the constituency. Also because we admitted to them that the role of the MP today has morphed. Ideally, the role of the MP was to make laws and only that. But today, the role of the MP has morphed into all sorts and gone beyond just making laws in Parliament. And Baba Sadiq represented that. I mean, if you look at my background, the things we've done, I won't be one to just wait for central government activities in my constituency before I move and try to create an impact. You know, and so yes, I'm anxious, but I'm also excited about opportunities and the prospects of really drive meaningful change into the constituency and making sure that lives are changed as much as possible.
Let me pick your parting words before we allow you to go.
Yeah, well, I mean, thank you very much to all constituents of Local Kwesi Central for voting for me and Excellency John Dramani Mahama. We are committed to all the promises that we've made to you on our campaign platform. We've already started our thank yous because we are not sleeping. We don't want to actually wait till we are fully sworn in, and so we're going to come to your houses one more time to reiterate the commitment that we make and take a bit more feedback from you regarding how we can ensure that our leadership in the next 4 years will be that which will be compelling, that which will bring the much needed relief to all constituents.
Thank you very much for your time. That's Babasa.